What's up, ladies and weebs? Some of you might recognize this guy right here. He's the guy that screams while opening up shiny cardboard.
What? Ah! No way!
An absolute freaking goat. But luckily, I'm not going to say anything bad about him because he's probably the least controversial big Pokemon YouTuber out there. He really does anything bad. He just opens up Pokemon cards, and it's a blast watching him. I'm going to be talking about a video he posted a little while ago.
Recently, I opened a $10,000 booster box of the first Pokemon cards ever made. Oh! This is a stack of the 40 cards that we got out of that booster box, and today we're going to see how we do. This was a huge risk because this box was really expensive, and you only get 40 cards out of it.
He basically grades the cards from the first several Pokemon cards ever made, which is like $10,000 a box. It's stupidly expensive, and you only get like 40 cards. Yeah, I know, I basically just explained what you saw like you're blind, so don't worry, I'm here to explain. He grades them with PSA, and before we go any further, if somehow or some way you don't know what grading is, well, it's basically this. You have a card and you send it to a professional grading company and pay a fee for them to look at it. They will look at your card and evaluate the condition from 1 to 10, 1 being the worst condition and 10 being the absolute best condition. They give their evaluations and they put it in a plastic protective case with a condition number and send it back. Usually the higher the grade, the more expensive it is. You can have a card that's worth $100, but if it's graded a 10, it can be worth $500 plus. Obviously, prices are subjective to the actual card, so you might be thinking, so it's pretty much easy money. All you have to do is pay a fee, send it out to grade, and make money, right? Well, not really. The thing is, because of factory issues, the handling, the overall process in making Pokemon cards, having a good condition card is pretty rare. It's not impossible, obviously, but it's still a gamble. So that answers why this isn't some sort of infinite money glitch. I did a fair share of grading by 2 companies, PSA and BGS. Unlike PSA, BGS is a little harsher in grading cards. Out of the 15 cards I sent out, I only got 110, and PSA is just generally just less strict. So back to the video at hand and pretty much the whole problem with grading Pokemon cards nowadays. So let's take a quick look at this video again.
Our first card is on this first stack, and it's going to be Growlithe. Okay, so these are so confusing trying to grade because like you have these borders that are kind of white but also kind of like yellowed. We're going to see what our first grade is. Can we get a really good one on our first one in 3, 2, 1? Oh, what? Oh, no. What? Oh my god, that's bad. What the heck?
PokéRev basically gets into the PSA return and starts off pretty bad. A 6. It's not a great start. Just for context here, this is what an actual 6 is supposed to look like. Obvious, some scuffing, some scratches on the back. You can see some obvious flaws. By the way, this is an English card, and what PokéRev is opening isn't English, it's Japanese, and it was a different type of Pokemon cards. To be more specific, I'm pretty sure it's like tops or something in Japanese. I'm not too sure, you could correct me if you want, but the rules still apply in grading any card. Scratches, centering issues, etc., factory issues, it doesn't matter on which card or company you grade with. So it doesn't matter what type of card you have, either Yu-Gi-Oh, Metazoo, it could be any single type of card you have. However, what makes this different was the cards he sent in looks flawless.
All right. Do we have like, it looks good. Like to me, it looks fine, right? Or does it have a bend in it? I don't know. Let's just see what happens. Ready? Here we go. Card number 2. The oldest Pokemon cards. Oh my god, what is this?
Alright, so maybe it's a fluke, right? Well, same thing happened to the next card.
It's really bad right now, bro. Something ain't right here, bro. Like, no.
Long story short, every card he got sent out got a PSA 6, which is a significant big loss since a PSA 10 could be worth like 5,000 for some cards that he sent in, and instead he got pretty much like $30 of value. It's an insanely big amount of loss. It's not something you can simply brush off, even for a big Pokemon YouTuber like him who probably gets a pretty decent amount of money from YouTube itself. It's still a huge amount of loss, and just sourcing the actual cards is a crazy hard job on its own. So what caused this? Well, apparently there's some sort of warping on all the cards as shown here.
We're gonna get to the bottom of it right now. This Seeking is getting cracked out of here, and our card is free. Now I get it. If our card is a 6, that's fine with me. but I need to make sure that this thing is a 6. Now, I think this might be what's happening. You see, like, it curves at the top there. Is that considered a bend? I think they're considering that a bend.
So it's because of the warping, right? Well, not really. See, grading companies don't count warping as a defect. Even if your card is warped, as long as it doesn't have any apparent creases, then you're completely fine. That only means PSA counted this as a crease. And honestly, you can judge for yourself if you think this is a warp or a crease. In my opinion, there is no way this is a crease. Yet this is at most a warp. I don't know what PSA were thinking, but they made a huge misjudgment. So that brings me to a thing I like to call touchy-feely grader syndrome. Now, grading isn't done by perfectly calculated machines. Grading is done by humans still, and humans evaluate it, meaning they're in total control of it all. Now, the problem with this, you can have bad graders and you can have good graders. You can get a guy that probably had a bad day, you know, coffee got spilled on his shirt, his uncle passed away or something, I don't know. You could get your cards and like, you know what, frick this, I'm gonna give it a 6. I don't want to waste my time on this. Actually, I'm giving all the cards 6s. You know what, no, I'm giving any card I grade and making them a 6. And this is a big problem because there are noobs who are grading and don't know what the heck they're doing. And let's be real, these guys aren't getting paid enough to actually care. Honestly, in my opinion, PSA should stop hiring these homo sapiens and start making machines do the grading. That way they can actually give a fair grading to cards. Not only does this fix the delays of grading, I guarantee you PSA could save so much more money since they don't have to hire graders. Trust me, if they can afford to hire 1,000 people to work for them, they can invest a couple million in good machines or some way, somehow, to figure out a system so machines could like grade Pokemon cards. And it all doesn't have to be just machines. Maybe they could hire a few people to ship out orders here and there. There are some other grading companies like AGS, I think, if I remember correctly, that they strictly do AI grading. Obviously, the origins of that company is very shady. I wouldn't recommend grade your cards by them. Sure, it might be a little fairer or whatever, but you're getting no value back at all. Like, from the very big risk you're already having with grading cards with companies such as BGS and PSA, your risk and return is so low on these wannabe grading companies like AGS. I think some Randolph did another company called like something, I don't really know. PSA honestly should take notes and actually start doing maybe AI grading, because honestly, just the grading cards in general is such a big loss sometimes. Like, and that's coming from someone that does quite a bit amount of grading as well, and I really just don't think it's worth it. So yeah, thanks for listening to me rant about this. In my opinion, this is just something I've been thinking about a lot. Honestly, I don't think grading cards yourself is worth it anymore. Just buy the graded card if you want it. Stop paying $100 to grade a card, because grading is expensive, man. And if you don't want to pay that, you're gonna need to wait like 6 months just to get your card back. And if you want to get your card back in, like, let's say a month, you still have to pay $50 to $100 for a card that, you know what, you probably just thought was cool, and maximum it's gonna be worth like $50 right off the bat. $50 in debt, you know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, I really don't see the need in grading cards anymore. Sure, like PokéRev, like he gets content out of it, you know, he got a pretty decent content. He probably made more money just from that video than the whole entire cost of the box or the cost of grading the cards. But again, this just goes to show that grading cards isn't the strat nowadays. You guys should just put stuff in a binder or put stuff in some top loaders and call it a day. Because honestly, I like to enjoy looking at my cards, enjoy just putting them up on display. Yeah, I do have some graded cards still, but I for some reason like seeing my cards in top loaders more than having a red sticker on top of it saying it's a PSA 10. Sure, yeah, it's pretty cool, but I don't know. So yeah, give me your opinion down below. You guys could still grade your cards, doesn't really affect me, I don't really care. But if you guys do want to listen to my advice, right now it's just really not a good time to grade with all the inflations and stuff. Like, it's just not really a good time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys subscribe and check out these videos. See ya, weebs.